Welcome to Books and Bytes, your shortcut to big ideas. We distill powerful books into quick, engaging summaries so you get the knowledge without the fluff. Stay, listen, and level up one book at a time. Today we're diving deep into Walter Isaacson's biography of Elon Musk.
Ah, Elon Musk. You know him as the force behind Tesla and SpaceX.
But this book, it really offers a glimpse behind the headlines, to understand the man behind the missions.
Yeah, Isaacson, he really has a knack for capturing the essence of these brilliant, complex figures. He did it with Steve Jobs, Leonardo da Vinci.
And now Elon Musk.
Exactly.
And with Musk, there's a lot to unpack. The book covers his childhood, his entrepreneurial journey, the whole roller coaster ride, his leadership style, his personal life.
And his vision for the future.
Oh, yeah, his ambitious vision for the future. So for this deep dive, we're exploring a central question. Is Elon Musk a visionary genius pushing humanity forward? Or is he a reckless disruptor who might just be leading us astray?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And to really understand Musk, you have to go back to his roots. His childhood in apartheid South Africa, it was far from idyllic. The book paints a picture of a young Elon navigating a difficult family dynamic, particularly with his father, Errol.
Yeah, Isaacson, he doesn't hold back in describing Elon Musk as a brilliant but emotionally abusive figure. It really makes you wonder how those early experiences might have shaped Elon's worldview and, his incredible drive.
Definitely. There's this whole school of thought that suggests adversity can forge resilience and ambition, right? And it's hard not to see that in Musk's trajectory. Even as a kid, he was such a voracious reader, devouring science fiction, showing that fascination with technology, led him to create his own video game, Blastar, at just 12 years old.
12 years old? That's impressive. That speaks to that entrepreneurial spirit that would come to define his career.
Absolutely. But before we get into all his ventures, it's worth noting that Musk's path wasn't this straight shot to Silicon Valley success. He moved to Canada, then the U.S., earning degrees in physics and economics from the University of Pennsylvania. He even started a PhD program at Stanford.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading about that.
But dropped out after only 2 days.
2 days. That's classic Elon.
Right. He saw the potential of the internet in the early 90s and decided academia wasn't for him. Dove headfirst into the world of startups with Zip2, an online city guide platform.
And remember, this was before Google Maps, widespread internet access.
Yeah, exactly. Musk had this vision of providing newspapers with digital maps and directories, and he managed to secure funding, get it off the ground.
That takes some serious hustle.
Serious entrepreneurial hustle.
Zip2 was eventually acquired by Compaq for over $300 million. Not a bad return on investment.
Not bad at all. But Musk, he didn't ride off into the sunset. He rolled those earnings into his next venture, X.com, which of course became PayPal. Revolutionized the way we send and receive money online. It's easy to forget how groundbreaking that was at the time.
It really was.
But even with this success, Musk faced challenges. He was famously ousted as CEO during a power struggle within the company.
So here's a guy who had already achieved what most entrepreneurs only dream of, right? He had money, success. But instead of taking it easy, he sets his sights on space.
Not just space. He wants to colonize Mars. This is where you start to see the sheer audacity of Musk's ambition. In 2002, he founded SpaceX with this seemingly impossible goal, making humanity a multiplanetary species. It seemed like a pipe dream, even to those familiar with the space industry.
And those early years, they were rough. The first 3 launches of SpaceX's Falcon 1 rocket, they ended in failure. The company was bleeding money. Musk was close to personal bankruptcy. You have to wonder what kept him going in the face of such setbacks.
Well, the 4th launch of the Falcon 1, it was a success. It was a pivotal moment. Not only proved SpaceX's capabilities, but also caught the attention of NASA. They awarded SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract to develop a spacecraft capable of transporting cargo and eventually astronauts to the International Space Station.
It's incredible to think that a private company founded by a guy who had never built a rocket before,
right,
could achieve something like that.
It's a testament to Musk's persistence, his ability to attract top talent, and his willingness to take risks that others wouldn't even consider. And speaking of risk, we can't forget about Tesla.
Ah, Tesla, the electric car company that became a global phenomenon. But it's important to note that Musk didn't actually found Tesla. He joined as an investor in 2004 and eventually became CEO, but not without some drama along the way.
Oh, yeah. There were clashes with co-founder Martin Eberhard, production delays, and of course more financial struggles. Tesla was on the brink of collapse more than once during those early years.
It's a familiar pattern with Musk, isn't it? He takes on these audacious challenges, faces seemingly insurmountable obstacles, and somehow manages to pull through.
He does seem to have a knack for it.
But with Tesla, it wasn't just about survival. Musk had a bigger vision. He wanted to prove that electric vehicles could be not just practical, but also high-performing, luxurious, desirable. And with the launch of the Model S in 2012, he did just that.
Yeah, the Model S, it changed the game. It was sleek, fast, and had an impressive range. Suddenly, electric cars weren't just for eco-conscious consumers, they were becoming status symbols.
And that success paved the way for the Model X, Model 3, Model Y.
Yeah.
Tesla became the leading electric vehicle manufacturer in the world, challenging the dominance of traditional automakers.
And accelerating the transition to sustainable transportation.
It's a remarkable achievement. But while Tesla was taking the automotive world by storm, Musk, he was already looking toward his next set of challenges. He founded Solar City, focused on renewable energy. Neuralink, developing brain-computer interfaces. The Boring Company, tackling traffic congestion with underground tunnels.
And let's not forget, OpenAI initially focused on developing safe and beneficial artificial intelligence, and later his own AI venture, xAI. It's almost as if he can't resist taking on multiple ambitious projects at once.
Some might call it reckless.
Others might call it visionary.
Which brings us back to our central question, doesn't it? Is Elon Musk a genius or a disruptor? Or perhaps a bit of both?
To answer that, we need to delve deeper into his leadership style, his philosophy, and the potential implications of his grand vision for the future. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Elon Musk. Before the break, we were discussing the sheer breadth of Musk's ventures, from revolutionizing transportation to colonizing Mars.
Yeah, and as we try to decide if he's a genius or a disruptor, let's look at another area he's trying to revolutionize.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
AI. Musk co-founded OpenAI,
Right.
but then he distanced himself from it. And now he's got his own AI company, xAI. What's the story there?
It seems like Musk has a complicated relationship with AI. He sees the potential for incredible advancements, but is also deeply concerned about the potential dangers. He's even talked about the possibility of an AI singularity, where AI surpasses human intelligence and becomes uncontrollable.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah, and to understand that fear, you have to consider that Musk isn't just talking about AI as a tool. He's thinking about the existential implications of creating something that could potentially outthink and outmaneuver us.
Right. He's not just thinking about, AI making our lives easier or more efficient. He's thinking about the big picture. Like, what does it mean for humanity if we create something smarter than ourselves?
Exactly. And so he co-founds OpenAI with this idea of democratizing AI research, making it open source, available to everyone.
Which on the surface seems like a noble goal.
Right. But then he changes course.
Right. He does. He eventually parts ways with OpenAI, expressing concerns about their commercialization and the potential for misuse of the technology.
And this is a key part of the reckless disruptor side of the argument.
Right.
Right. While his initial intentions might have been idealistic, some critics argue that his exit from OpenAI contributed to a less transparent and potentially less safe development landscape for AI.
So it's like he set this ball rolling, then decided he didn't like where it was headed.
Kind of, yeah. And then, after leaving OpenAI, he creates his own AI company, xAI, with the stated goal of developing what he calls safe and beneficial AI. It almost seems like he's trying to steer the development of AI in a direction that aligns with his own vision.
So he's trying to control it, in a way.
You could say that. And this is where that visionary geniuses aspect comes back into play. Whether you agree with his approach or not, there's no denying that Musk is trying to actively shape the future of AI, rather than just passively observing its development.
Okay, so that's AI. But then there's Neuralink, which is arguably one of his most ambitious and controversial ventures.
Definitely controversial. The idea of merging human brains with computers.
It feels like something straight out of science fiction.
Right. But Musk seems convinced that it's the key to our future.
Neuralink is aiming to develop brain-machine interfaces that could potentially enhance human capabilities, treat neurological disorders, and even allow us to directly interface with AI.
It's mind-blowing stuff. And Musk argues that this is a necessary step to ensure humanity's survival in an age of rapidly advancing artificial intelligence.
So in a way, he's saying we need to become cyborgs to compete with the AI we're creating.
In a sense, yes. He believes we need to become, in a sense, part machine to keep pace with our own creations.
But is that a future we should even want? The idea of augmenting our brains with computer power raises all sorts of ethical concerns. What about the potential for inequality if only certain people have access to this technology? And what about the potential for hacking or even mind control?
These are all valid concerns, and they feed into the criticisms of Musk as being reckless and perhaps even playing God with technology. However, his supporters might argue that he's simply confronting the inevitable. If AI is going to continue to advance, they might say, wouldn't it be better for humans to have a direct connection to it, to guide its development and ensure it remains beneficial to humanity?
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
It's like, do we try to control the future, or do we just let it happen and hope for the best?
Yeah.
And it highlights that line between visionary genius and reckless disruptor that we keep coming back to.
Right. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about Musk's leadership style, which has been described as demanding, intense, and even ruthless at times. Isaacson's biography doesn't shy away from portraying the more challenging aspects of working with Musk.
Yeah, I was going to say the book definitely paints a picture of him as a very demanding boss.
Musk is notorious for his relentless work ethic and incredibly high expectations. He regularly works 100-hour weeks and expects his employees to match his dedication. He's also known for being quick to criticize and even fire those who don't meet his standards.
So he's definitely not the kind of boss who's going to pat you on the back for just showing up.
Definitely not. He's all about results. And this certainly contributes to that disruptor image. He's not afraid to shake things up and push people to their limits.
The book includes several anecdotes of employees describing Musk's intense focus and his tendency to micromanage. He seems to have a very specific vision for how things should be done, and he doesn't hesitate to express his dissatisfaction when things don't go according to plan.
Now, while some might see this as tyrannical or even abusive, others would argue that it's simply the price of innovation. Musk is tackling challenges that have never been solved before, and he's doing it at an unprecedented pace. There's bound to be some friction and high pressure in that kind of environment.
So it's like, if you want to work with a visionary, you have to be prepared to work at a visionary pace.
Exactly. You have to be able to keep up with him. And then there's the whole issue of Musk's use of social media, particularly Twitter, which he eventually purchased and rebranded as X. Even before he owned it, his tweets often sparked controversy, moved markets, and even got him into legal trouble.
Musk's tendency to be impulsive and outspoken on social media has been both praised and criticized. Some see it as a refreshing form of transparency, a CEO who isn't afraid to speak his mind and engage directly with the public.
Yeah.
But others view it as reckless and irresponsible, particularly given his influence and the potential for his words to have a real-world impact.
It's a double-edged sword, for sure. And his acquisition of Twitter, or X, only amplified those concerns.
He stated his goal was to make the platform a bastion of free speech, but his critics argue that his actions have actually done the opposite, leading to a rise in misinformation and hate speech.
The debate over content moderation and the balance between free speech and preventing harm is incredibly complex, and Musk's approach to it has been anything but conventional. He's implemented sweeping changes, fired a significant portion of the staff, and introduced new features and policies that have been met with mixed reactions.
That's like he's constantly experimenting, trying to figure things out as he goes.
Exactly. And it's clear that Musk's vision for X is still evolving. He seems to be experimenting in real time, trying to figure out how to reshape the platform and the broader social media landscape. Whether his efforts will ultimately be successful or not remains to be seen.
And this is where understanding Musk's personal motivations becomes crucial. What drives him to push these boundaries, to take these risks, and to challenge the status quo so relentlessly? Is it purely about innovation and progress? Or is there something deeper at play? Isaacson's biography attempts to delve into those questions by exploring Musk's childhood, his relationships, his fears, and his aspirations. The book paints a picture of a man driven by a complex mix of idealism and pragmatism, a deep-seated desire to leave his mark on the world, and perhaps even a fear of what the future holds.
One interesting aspect explored in the book is Musk's unconventional views on population growth. He's spoken out against what he sees as a declining birth rate, arguing that humanity needs more people, not fewer. He even sees his own large family as contributing to this goal.
Which, for someone who's so focused on technology in the future, seems a little counterintuitive.
It does, but it ties into his belief that humanity needs to expand beyond Earth to ensure its long-term survival. He sees Mars colonization not just as a scientific endeavor, but as a moral imperative.
And it's that kind of grand thinking, that willingness to look beyond the immediate and consider the long-term implications of our actions, that makes Musk such a fascinating figure. Whether you agree with his ideas or not, he forces you to think differently about the world and our place in it. So, we've explored Musk's early life, his entrepreneurial journey, his ventures into space, electric vehicles, AI, and even his personal beliefs. But what does it all add up to? Is he the visionary genius leading us to a brighter future, or the reckless disruptor who might just be leading us astray?
To answer that, I think we need to consider the potential consequences of Musk's grand vision for the future. What kind of world will we be living in if his ideas come to fruition? And what are the risks and rewards associated with this trajectory?
Welcome back to the final part of our Elon Musk deep dive. We've traced his journey from a difficult childhood to becoming one of the most influential figures of our time. But now, we're stepping into the realm of speculation. What does the future look like through the lens of Elon Musk's vision?
It's a future that's both exhilarating and unsettling, as you said. Musk is betting big on certain technologies that, if successful, could reshape humanity's trajectory, but there's that lingering question. Is he leading us towards utopia or potential disaster?
Let's start with Mars, which seems to be his ultimate obsession. He stated repeatedly that making humanity a multiplanetary species is crucial for our long-term survival. It's almost as if he sees Earth as a ticking time bomb and Mars as our escape route.
And SpaceX, of course, is the vehicle for that ambition. They've made incredible progress in developing reusable rockets and pushing the boundaries of space travel, but the practical challenges of colonizing Mars are immense. We're talking about creating a habitable environment on a barren planet, with a thin atmosphere, no liquid water on the surface, and extreme temperature swings.
It's a monumental engineering challenge, to say the least. And even if we could overcome those technical hurdles, there are ethical questions to consider. Who gets to go to Mars? What kind of society will they create? Do we have the right to terraform another planet and potentially disrupt whatever might already exist there, even if it's microbial life?
Those are questions that science fiction has grappled with for decades, and now, thanks to Musk, they're starting to feel very real. And then there's the whole issue of artificial intelligence, which Musk sees as both a potential savior and a potential threat to humanity. He's talked about the possibility of an AI singularity, a point where artificial intelligence surpasses human intelligence and could potentially spiral out of our control.
And that's where Neuralink comes in, right?
Yeah.
His company that's developing brain-computer interfaces. Musk seems to believe that merging with AI might be the only way for humans to keep up to avoid becoming obsolete in the face of super-intelligent machines.
It's a radical concept, and it gets to the heart of what some people find unsettling about Musk's vision. Does progress require us to fundamentally alter what it means to be human? Do we need to become cyborgs to ensure our own survival? And what happens to those who are left behind in this technological evolution?
It raises profound questions about inequality ethics, even the nature of consciousness itself. And it's not just hypothetical anymore. Neuralink has already demonstrated its technology in pigs and monkeys, and human trials are on the horizon.
We're entering uncharted territory here, and it's hard to predict what the long-term consequences will be. But Musk seems convinced that it's a risk worth taking. He sees the potential for Neuralink to not only treat neurological disorders, but to enhance human capabilities, expand our consciousness, and perhaps even allow us to communicate directly with AI.
It's a future that's both exciting and terrifying in equal measure. And it highlights the fundamental tension at the heart of Elon Musk's story, this constant push and pull between visionary genius and reckless disruptor.
And it's a tension that I think each of us has to grapple with individually. Do we embrace the potential of these technologies, even with their inherent risks? Or do we resist this kind of radical transformation, even if it means falling behind in the face of progress?
There are no easy answers, but Isaacson's biography offers a valuable framework for thinking about these questions. It forces us to confront the complexities of innovation, ambition, and the unintended consequences of our technological pursuits.
Musk's story is a reminder that progress is rarely a straight line. It's messy, it's unpredictable, and it often comes with a price. But it also has the potential to unlock incredible possibilities and reshape the world in ways we can't even imagine.
So as we conclude this deep dive, I think the most important takeaway is not to simply accept or reject Musk's vision wholesale. It's to engage with the questions he raises, to consider the potential benefits and risks of the technologies he's championing, and to participate in shaping the future we want to create.
Well said. Elon Musk might be the one pushing the boundaries, but ultimately it's up to all of us to decide what kind of future we want to inherit. And that's perhaps the most profound legacy of his audacious journey.
Until next time, keep those pages turning or those screens scrolling, And we'll be back soon with another deep dive into a world of big ideas.